In this video, we are going to study about the absolute value of the function. Here, firstly, we should remember what was the absolute value. When the number is written inside the absolute value, the result is always positive. So, absolute value of -3 is equal to 3, or absolute value of 3 is equal to 3. There is no importance of the number, positive or negative. When it is written in absolute value, the result it should be equal to 3. So, if fx is equal to, in absolute value, there are two possible values. X will be greater than 0, fx will be greater than 0, or fx will be smaller than 0. If fx is smaller than 0, we should take the negative one, because if the x value is negative, when you get the negative of it, negative and negative, the result is going to be positive. So when the function is negative, get the negative of fx, double negative here, and the result is going to be positive again. So this function always it should be positive. First, I'm going to draw the graph of y is equal to x minus 3. How to draw the graph of y is equal to x minus 3? Y is equal to 0, and y is equal to x minus 3. We know this one. 0 is equal to x minus 3. X is equal to 3. Here in this point it's going to be x is equal to 3, it should be this point. And if x is equal to 0, you know we were getting this point. Y is equal to 0 minus 3, y is equal to minus 3. Y is equal to minus 3 it's going to be, and it is this point. Okay, when we draw the graph of the function here, we'll get use different color. Here, this is the graph of, it's going to be, this is the graph of y is equal to x. Okay, this is y is equal to, this function is y is equal to x minus 3. What about the absolute value? Absolute value means always positive. Always positive means the negative part here cannot be. So y cannot be negative. Here this part y positive, this part is y negative. The negative part of the y cannot be. So what we are going to do? We are going to clean this part and we are going to write up. If you watch this part, I'm going to draw the same graph here. And I'm going to get the absolute value of it. Now, here the graph is, this is the graph of the y is equal to absolute value of x. Here, this is the part of it also. Okay, this is y is equal to x minus 3. If I want to draw the graph of y is equal to absolute value of x minus 3, I need to get this part, which is the here this part, which is the negative of the function, negative part of the function. I need to get this one up. Like I'm going to flip this one, and you're going to understand. If you flip in x-axis, yes, the figure that we draw now, this is the y is equal to absolute value of x minus 3. What is the difference here? As you see, what is drawn to down part flipped to up. The similar, if the point here it was equal to minus 3, the point became here 3, and here this point is 3 also. So this function is absolute value of x minus 3. On the graph, if I try to explain this one, if I draw the graph of y is equal to x squared minus 4, here 2 and 2, it's going to pass through 2 and minus 2. I need to rewrite this part again. X is equal to 2 and x is equal to minus 2, it's going to be, and here it's going to pass through the minus 4, and normally x squared graph here 4 unit down it should be, 4 unit down means the graph of the function is going to be like this here. Yes, my drawing is not good, but yes, this is y is equal to here. This one is not good maybe, but y is equal to x squared minus 4. This is y is equal to x squared minus 4. What about the absolute value of it? The same function, only the negative part. This part is the negative part here, which is below the y x-axis. Here this part y is negative. So this negative part we are going to turn up. We are going to flip it up with respect to x-axis. And here this point it's going to be 2, and here minus 2. Here the graph, normally it was continuing like this, as you see here, this part, and this part was continuing like this. Here again I couldn't draw very well. Okay, and this part here, this part of the, it was here minus 4. It was here minus 4. So when you flip this one up, it's going to be plus 4. And when you flip this part up, it should be like this. Or here. It should be like this. Okay, now this is the graph of y is equal to x squared minus absolute value of x squared minus 4. So negative parts, it should turn up, and we are going to flip up. Actually, we should flip it up. Okay, the next questions. Here, instead of question, there are functions, different functions. Sine function. This is sine function. Absolute value of it, it should turn up here. This should flip up, and this should flip up with respect to x-axis. Here, as you see the graph, this is the absolute value of sine x. Here, how it's getting closer to 1 from the negative infinity. So from the positive infinity, it's going to get closer to 1. From the negative infinity, it was getting closer to 1. From the positive infinity, it's getting closer to 1. Yes. Now, this is the absolute value of ln x. Okay. Now let's try to find the absolute value of these graphs. Firstly, here the negative part. This part is the negative part. This part is the negative part. So I'm going to flip this one up. Here I'm going to, it's intersecting with the x-axis here, and this is positive parts. I'm not going to change. I'm going to draw the positive parts again. Here I'm going to draw the positive parts again. Here how it is, it's going to be same. This is the same, but the negative parts, it should go up. If it is minus, this should be also plus. So it was minus 1, now it is plus 1. Here it was minus 1, and this is plus 1. This should turn up, and the graph should be like this. And up, this becomes absolute value of fx. Okay. Now the figure here, it has two parts, negative part and positive part. Positive part, it's going to be same for us here. Positive part, it's going to be same for us. This negative part turns up. So the figure, new figure, it's going to be something like this. New figure, it's going to be something like this. Okay, this was gx function. Now this is absolute value of gx. Okay, now this function here, the negative parts, these are the negative parts. Here these parts are the negative parts of the function. Okay, I'm going to turn this one up. If I take this one here, this one exactly down, this part down. I'm going to copy this one. I'm going to copy this one exactly. Yes, here it is. Now I will draw this one here, and if it's passing through, yes, it should be like this. Yes, it should be like this. Now the negative parts, I'm cleaning the negative parts. This part I clean. Okay, this part I clean. And I'm drawing the same parts to up. Here it should be like this. And this should be here, like 2 unit up. Yes, 2 unit up, and then down. Yes, and this is the now y is equal to, this is the y is equal to absolute value of hx.